Happy Wednesday, Syracuse. How's it going? Welcome to For the Stands. I'm your host, Tommy Romano. Very beautiful spring week. They just announced the block party lineup. Feeling like the end of the semester is coming a little sooner than I would like it to happen, but hey, we keep trucking on anyway. Today we have a very special guest. We got Cato, an audio art student. We're going to learn all about him and his favorite music. And without any further ado, let's get into it. Welcome, Cato.
What's going on? Hold on. Who they announced for the lineup?
Okay, so they announced Faye Webster as the opener.
Okay.
And Amine is the headliner.
Ooh.
You like Amine?
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Amine remind me of like senior year of high school, early undergrad, with Caroline.
Yeah.
Really the whole album where he was sitting on like the yellow background, he was sitting on the blue toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on 1.5. That's one of my favorite mixtapes. So
that's awesome. You got to go.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go see Amina. His last album was fire, too.
Yeah. So, I think it's a good get. Let's talk about a block party for a minute. Both Faye Webster and Amina I really like. They like kind of represent both of my favorite genres, like kind of like pop with some like guitar and stuff for Faye, and then like I really love some hip hop and stuff. As the listeners know, what are your favorite genres?
I really have a favorite genre. 97% of what I listen to is rap music.
Nice.
Yeah,
okay.
So, I mean, I respect all the other genres. Like, I try to tell, like, I listen to other things very rarely.
Yeah.
But, as far as what I listen to, I'm pretty much a one-trick pony, I'll be honest.
Okay. What's your favorite? You said you like rap. What's your favorite kind of rap?
I like a lot of different ones. Trap, of course, because, I was born in Atlanta. So,
nice.
I just naturally took to that sound. I like G-Funk, like the West Coast sound.
Nice.
So that's another sound that I'm a fan of. New York Boom Bap, of course, because that's really where a lot of this was founded upon. I'm not even going to lie, even though I can't understand what they're saying because I don't speak the language. I mean, even Latin trap, I think, is fire.
Nice.
Like, I could just kind of tell just from just the way it sounds that, what I'm saying, maybe, they got flows and they got some ways that they say some things.
Yeah, that's cool.
Is there anything else? I like Chopped and Screwed. That's definitely a Texas thing.
Nice.
So
yeah.
I'm a fan of those. Those are probably like my main ones right there.
I think in an episode last season, we went through DJ Screw and his influence, and when we talked about the Travis Scott album.
Yeah, definitely. Screw, when it comes to Texas, he really is the biggest influence to ever come out of there. A lot of what he does as far as like a lot of the real slow down, a lot of the real reverb heavy, like I said, the chopped and the screwed, that's Screw right there. I wish that I think people don't understand how young he was when he passed. I think DJ Screw was like 30 or like 29. So, his legacy, I'm glad to see that it picked up.
Right.
I think around like 2013, 2014, I think it started picking back up, especially with Travis Scott becoming the global superstar that he is. Then having a song on Astro World, R.I.P. Screw. But definitely, Screw is phenomenal. I'm definitely a huge fan of his. Yeah,
and they keep dropping the chopped albums. I just saw one come out for Frank Ocean, which is pretty cool. After all these years,
that has a very prominent sound, and I'm glad that so many more people are starting to appreciate it.
Yeah. Do you think that like when you see stuff like the slowed down versions on TikTok and sped up version that really is all influenced by like what Screw was doing, you think?
Slow down, yes. I don't necessarily know about sped up, but and I'm not a fan of sped up. I rather listen to it slower.
Yeah.
But that whole sound as far as slowing things down and all the effects and like kind of like the hazy mood it puts you in. It goes back to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Screw is the really. Like I said, I always say that there was somebody generally who did something before, but as far as pioneering the sound, and he probably was the first person to do it, definitely Screw. People don't give Screw his credit. Screw is really a hustler. I've read an article, I forgot who said it, but whoever was in the Screwed Up clique that he was a part of, they said that they once seen Screw sell out like 25 or like 50,000 mixtapes, like at a car show.
Wow.
So, in New York, people might not necessarily realize how big he is, but especially in Texas, and Texas is very unique because it has so many people,
right,
and so many different cultures, and they have a huge hip hop culture. Screw was absolutely phenomenal. He was a genius business mind. Screwed Up Records. That's still standing. I think his cousin or like his brother or like a close friend of his runs Screwed Up Records. So Screw is as great as he was as far as a artistic genius, like creative mind musically. He was a great business mind as well.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know much about that. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's a whole record store. He would sell like the tapes and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely. Damn. Yeah, Screw was something serious.
That's really cool. So you talked a little bit about loving some trap music. You're from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Who are your favorite like trap artists? When you say that, who do you think of?
Well, the first person I think of is Gucci Man. Reason being is because really there's three people that I always say. As far as for the Atlanta sound, well, actually, hold on, the roots of the sound, the production, which I feel like is what really drives the music, because most artists, choose beats that they hear words over, is really deeply rooted in Memphis. Memphis, for a lot of the trap sound, a lot of the trill wave, a lot of the cloud rap, a lot of what goes on within the SoundCloud rap, like atmosphere. A lot of that is deeply rooted in Memphis 90s underground gangster rap and horrorcore. Right. So, I don't know if you're familiar with this guy, but DJ Spanish Fly.
No. Wow.
DJ Spanish Fly is maybe the inventor of pretty much like the modern day trap sound. It kind of starts with him. So, as far as just like the mixture, he was a DJ in Memphis, and he would mix a lot of different sounds and things together. But, what it would come from is that he would use like a lot of what people call like cheap, music products. So Roland TR 808 drum machine, and, some of the different like cheap synths that people didn't necessarily have, really see too much value in.
Yeah.
He would go and he would DJ and he would make these mixes, and eventually that's what inspired the sound. So that inspired the Tommy Wright the Thirds, the 3-6 Mafias especially. So essentially, I always like to give Memphis their credit, because a lot of people don't understand how influential of a city Memphis is as far as to like the trap sound. And then when we talk about the actual artist and what blew up in Atlanta, like I said, Gucci definitely. He was somebody I was listening to heavy. His first album, Trap House, I actually have on vinyl. What is it? Back to the Trap House, which I think was his second album that he released on Asylum, if I'm not mistaken. What else? What is it? Chicken Talk was a mixtape that he had. Gucci had that real underground sound, so that's what I really gravitated towards. And then next, Jeezy. I got to give Jeezy his credit. I'm more, I don't mean to keep bringing this up, but I'm the person who I really credit with, like I said, who I really credit with the sound is definitely Gucci. But Jeezy, his first album, Thug Motivation 101. That really commercialized it, I think. It went platinum in like the span of like 6 months. Like, Jeezy was huge. I can't deny that. Even his first mixtape, Come Shop With Me. His first mixtape was huge. I think it sold 50,000 copies independently. T.I. is another one. He had an album in 2004, really before both of those guys, called Trap Music, even though I think what it's become today is morally, you have to give more credit to Jeezy and Gucci. Yeah. But, those are the three. And then as far as modern day trap, Thug, Free Thug, definitely got to put that out there. Thug, definitely, he took trap and put like his own unique spin on it with the voice and the mumbling and the incoherent language. Future, especially with the auto-tune. Yeah. Who else modern day? 21 Savage, I got to give him his credit as far as like that real menacing, gangster version of trap. Little Baby, I would consider in that realm too. Who else would be in that realm as well as far as trap that I like? Pee Wee Longway. He's another one from Atlanta.
Wow, that's the first one I didn't know.
Yeah, Pee Wee Longway, definitely. He came out with Thug and them. Okay. Migos, I got to give them their credit. Rest in peace to Takeoff. Right. Migos, especially Offset. Offset's my favorite Migo. Matter of fact,
that's a good take.
Yeah, definitely. Because to me, he's the best rapper. And then, is there anybody else as far as trappers? Bankroll Freddie, Free Him. I would definitely put him in that category. Young Dolph, I'll put in that category. Key Glock, I'll put in that category. I feel like I'm missing some people, but I know we ain't working with a whole lot of time. But those are some of like the first names that come to mind.
Yeah, I think of those names that you mentioned, one of the most prominent and my personal favorite would be Young Thug.
Yeah, understandable. And I always said this about Thug. Thug to me might be the biggest influence of what's currently going on in hip hop now. And I mean that not even from a musical standpoint, but from I mean that from a musical standpoint, and also from overall culture standpoint. Yeah. A lot of these rappers that are, a little bit more androgynous with their clothing, kind of experimenting with things that, generally were considered like women's clothing. I credit that to Thug. His 2016 album, Jeffrey, people say it's a dress. He called it a kiln or a kilt or a quilt or something like that. I don't know what it was, but it came off as a dress. You go back to that. As far as wearing all these tight-ass clothes and things of that nature, I definitely give Thug a lot of credit as far as the fashion. As far as the sound, too, definitely him. If you listen to, like, I mean, I can't think of the songs off the top of my head, but like there's like a Drake song where he uses his flow. Like a lot of people are using
Right.
Thug's flow, and like a lot of the mumble rap and things that was that was popular like about 4 or 5 years ago. I credit him with that a lot as well, as far as just like that whole, like I said, like the SoundCloud, a lot of the SoundCloud guys that came out during like that 2015, 2018, 2019 era.
Yeah.
I think Thug was a huge influence on all of those. As far as this era right now, I think he's the most influential as far as from a stylistic standpoint. I mean, Kid Cudi is up there in my personal opinion too. Gucci's inspired a lot of guys as well, but yeah, I definitely have to probably say Thug.
Yeah, that's a really great great choice.
Mm-hmm.
I liked what you said about Young Thug kind of being a good representation, more than the music and the sound, but also just culturally, because I feel like he had really smart marketing whenever he would drop, and you mentioned his more like androgynous clothing choices, and you see Harry Styles get the cover of Vogue for doing that, but Young Thug he put it on his album cover, and he wasn't expecting the cover of Vogue. He did it because he wanted to do it, and
exactly.
I really respect that.
Yeah, and even
with
before
artistry.
his album cover, I mean, there's photos of him with painted nails, and
Right.
now, like I said, to me, no disrespect to anybody, but like when I was coming up, I was taught that painted nails, what I'm saying, unless you was getting like a clear manicure, that painted nails was a thing for the ladies, and now I see, no disrespect, I see more dudes with a fresh set of painted nails than I do women. So, and like I said, that ain't me talking bad about it, nothing like that, but Thug was really kind of like the first rapper that I really seen like on that. I mean, of course, like, you had like, there were some other people, maybe not necessarily within rap that kind of, like Michael Jackson's and the Prince especially, who kind of, walked that fine line. But as far as just being a rapper, I mean, Thug has been seen in drag before. He's been seen wearing like little girls' dresses. He's been seen with his painted nails. That's him. So, really, not even just rap, but I mean, I feel like with a lot of these artists and these stars kind of opening up those doors and, like I said, walking that fine line of what is masculine and what is not, and kind of recreating, like redefining, masculinity.
Right.
If Thug isn't the first, he's a central figure in it. Yeah, I don't feel.
I agree, and one that's not spoken of enough, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, even on Barter 6, he posed naked on the album cover.
Wow, how did I forget that? That's he did.
As I said before, his legacy is absolutely ridiculous. Like when you just like I said, from a musical standpoint and from a standpoint outside of music, he's might be the biggest cultural figure in rap music over the last decade.
I would full stop agree. I mean, even I wasn't pushing P like top song of 2020. That's Thug sound. And his legacy will clearly go on and on and on, and hopefully his legal troubles get cleared up soon, and we can hear some more music.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's actually crazy. This morning I was listening to Salam Language too, because I seen a post from YSL, his record label, their Instagram, and it was like, oh, Salam Language 2 came out 2 years ago, and I'm like, damn. So I was listening to it, and I was actually gonna say this on my Instagram, so it's actually funny that we actually got this in depth into the conversation.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna say like, yo, we need a free Thug because music's boring without him. Like rap music to me,
I totally agree.
Thug and Gunna and all of that whole, and I don't want to speak too much on any legal issues because I've been hearing the rumors about Gunna or whatever, but I don't necessarily know it for sure. So, but anyways, it was just like that YSL music ain't. I don't know. It's something missing without them. Like that fun, turn up songs for the summer, and like. This is kind of where they run free.
I agree.
And, without them, like I said, I think like rap music definitely has an element of boringness to it that I feel like they kind of filled, and I feel like we're really feeling it now because Thug been locked up for what, 2 years?
I think
going on
so.
2, right?
Yeah.
So it's about to be the second summer without him. So
One thing that I loved about him is not only I loved that he would lean into he would like do a pop song, he wouldn't care, and then the pop song would be like whatever, number one, Havana, top of the charts for months, and he would really rep that. Diamond, certainly.
That's a Diamond single.
Like insane. And another thing he would do is he would always bring the best out of Drake.
Yes.
Because we've seen the worst of Drake, and we've seen Drake with Thug. And I'm hoping What a Time to Be a Slime is a real thing, because that would be a crazy album.
Yeah, there was a lot of, I feel like a lot of projects that Thug could have really brought the best out of a lot of artists. Leor Cohen stopped Migos thugging.
Oh,
that was supposed to be a project, I think, in 2015. 2017. Yeah, Migos Thug was supposed to be a project.
Wow.
I think Thug was supposed to have a couple more collaborations. I mean, even though I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of the mixtape he did with Chris Brown, even Slime and B, I felt like, you know, Thug definitely brought out another level of artistry from Chris Brown. So,
Agreed.
I mean, you know, working with him, I mean, he goes really on anything. He can do, there really isn't a limit to, you know, as far as his fluidity within, like, genres. I mean, country rap. This is another thing. Let's speak on this, is that we're talking about him as far as being an influence. Salute the Lil Nas X, because he took country rap and made it ridiculous. I mean, like I said, he had the fastest Diamond song and one of the greatest selling singles of all time.
Yeah.
Go look at Beautiful Thugger Girls back in 2018.
That's what I was just thinking of, him on the cover with the acoustic guitar.
With the acoustic guitar, and the first song, Family Don't Matter.
Mm-hmm.
That was, I don't know if that's necessarily the first country rapper, because, you know, you had guys like Bubba Sparks who were, like, you know, kind of walk that line. But, I mean, as far as, like, what we know it is today, before Old Town Road even came out, Thug had already, you know, he had already put out an album which featured, you know what I'm saying, like, elements of country.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, this last 8 minutes we've been talking, I mean, if people really want to know just about as far, like, his hand has been in everything. Almost every single big popular trend, or almost every single thing that, you know, almost all the new, like, as far as, like, whether it's a new artist, whether it's a new sound, he puts his hand in a lot of it. As you were saying, as far as, like, with Drake, I mean, I feel the same way, and I feel like, you know, the Future, too, you got to give him his credit.
Yes.
You know, but I definitely would say, like, you know, some of my favorite songs with Drake, some of my favorite songs that feature Drake have Young Thug on it. Like, what was the name of that 2017? He called it a playlist, but I think it's technically a mixtape. I think it has his dad.
Oh, More Life.
More Life.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? I think it's Ice Melts.
Oh, that's a crazy song.
And
note to the editor: play Ice Notes and Ice Melts on under this.
Yeah.
We can make that happen.
But Ice Melts, I believe, is the name of that song. And then Sacrifices with 2 Chainz. I mean, Thug bring it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, when you get on a song with him, like, you know, you got to make sure that you have, you got to make sure that you have it together. Because, like I said, he, from a stylistic standpoint and from a rapping standpoint, you know, I feel like he can bring the best out of almost anybody. Mm-hmm.
I agree. Wow, this has been a great conversation so far. We've talked a lot about the Atlanta sound, getting us into Young Thug, but you can't go anywhere these days without hearing the new Princess Diana Ice Spice song. You mentioned early that you liked New York rap. Can you talk about what you think that her success is going to be, what her impact's going to be, why she's blowing up right now? She's already had the #1 with Boy's a Liar. Mm-hmm. Where do you think she's going?
Ice Spice?
Yeah.
I was a fan when she first came out.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I'm actually tell a funny story. Actually, hold on, let me ask you a question first. Mm-hmm. I think that Ice Spice has the world in the palm of her hand as long as she stays consistent. I think as long as she continues to stay creative and she continues to do what she has been doing for this time being, I think that Ice Spice, you know, I could definitely see her, you know what I'm saying, being very popular, have a very prominent career, first and foremost. But second, I was a fan of her when she first came out. Like, when she come out with Munch, you know, I don't ride around in my car listening to Munch. But you want to know something? She introduced, look at Munch is everywhere now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Munch is everywhere. Like, I don't know if that necessarily was if she was the first person who came up with the term, but, you know, her songs sent wildfires throughout, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, urban culture. Mm-hmm. Like, now, anytime I get on Instagram, anytime I get on Twitter, anytime I almost always see the word Munch.
Yeah.
I see it some way, somehow. I don't even really technically knows what it means. Like, I was even having this discussion. Like, somebody had the nerve, the audacity to ask me if I was one, and I was like, hell no. But anyways, the point that I'm just trying to make is, like, even her song, whether you didn't like it or not, look at what it did. Look at the impact that it had. Look at the influence that it has. And look, Munch came out, 8 months ago? Wow. It's still being used, popular within, like popular, like, slang and lexicon. So.
It feels like it came out 2 months ago. Exactly. That's crazy that it came out 8 months ago. So when she first
came out, I was in, I'm a grad student, but I was allowed, shout out to Bill Wordy.
Shout out to Bill Wordy.
Yeah, facts. Shout out to Bill Wordy, because he actually fought for me to take this class. But that's neither here nor there. I was in Band Year 235. Mm-hmm. So, grad students, we're not supposed to take a 235 level course, but, you know, Bill, you know, pulled a couple strings like a guitar and made something happen and got me into the class because I really need to learn about the business. Yeah, and he seen that was the direction I was going. Shout out to Bill again.
Shout out to Bill.
So, that's my guy, you know. But anyways, as I was saying, respectfully, so we had to do this A&R assignment. It was like, you guys pick a song that, you know what I'm saying, is by, like, has less than, I was in Professor S.
Michelle Santos-Uoso. Shout out.
Thank you, because I always struggle saying her last name. But shout out to her as well. And we had to pick a song that, was kind of bubbling. So I chose Munch by Ice Spice.
Wow.
So, and it was like, we had to pretty much do like an A&R assignment where we kind of sit in the room and everybody gives their opinion. So, a lot of people did not like the song. I think I didn't necessarily like the song, but I seen its value.
You saw the potential, the value.
And I'm like, bro, this is the same, pathway that, like kind of Cardi B and other people who have come up on. Like, this is the same kind of way. This is the same kind of path that they've taken.
Yeah. And
everybody in there, I'm in there with like, like a lot of, I think there was a couple freshmen. I think it was mostly sophomores. And they're like, oh no, this is trash. This is horrible. Turn it off. Cut it off. And, look, now here she is with, a Nicki feature on Princess Diana, and she walked on that. I'm thick because I be eating oats. Bitches ain't taking nothing from me but notes. Come on now.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's clever. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, you probably won't necessarily catch me riding around in my car listening to Ice Spice, but I think that she makes good music. And I even had a couple conversations with some girls from New York, like from her area, and they don't even like her. And I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, her project was really well received. And look, anytime she do something like Pitchfork ranked her her EP that she just came out with. They ranked it at 7.6. So it was above a lot of other albums. Like it was above, like I think Rodeo from Travis. It was from Travis Scott.
That's huge for Pitchfork.
Yeah, it's huge and that's what they ranked it. And it sent everybody into a frenzy. So she keeps doing things regardless if you like it or not. But your attention stays on her. So as far as where I think she's going, I think that the world is hers. And, like I said, I'm a fan. Like I said, she dropped some things and, she has some clever lines. She has some clever lyrics. I like how, when we really think about the person who's really kind of keeping that New York drill sound alive, from a mainstream standpoint, you really got to give her a lot of the credit. I think there's some other people that are brewing. I love Lola Brooke. Not Broke. Yeah, Lola Brooke. She's from Brooklyn. She reminded me of like a female DMX.
Oh, wow.
She's really aggressive and what I'm saying, like really like ugh. So I like her. Who else? There's a couple others, and because I know we only got a few more minutes left, but I want to make sure that I'll let you get on to your next question. But as far as Ice Spice, like I said, I'm in support. I like her. I think that she makes quality music, and I think as long as she continue to follow her same formula, I think she'll be all right.
I couldn't agree more. Like you said, I think the world's in the palm of her hand, and to have a Nicki co-sign with no album out, like.
Yeah, and Nicki walked on that song too.
You could tell she was really inspired. Like I love when Nicki gets the battery put in her back and like really feels the need to come out spitting again. Yeah. I've been liking the new Nicki songs. Have you been? Red Ruby to Sleaze.
I rock with that song. Mm-hmm. I rock with that one. I haven't heard the other ones, but Red Ruby, I rock with that one. And Nicki is who she is. I mean, people can say whatever they want to. Nicki might be the most important female rapper of all time, just from the simple fact that there wasn't really Nicki. Like if you look at almost any era of rap, there was always at least like 2 females, 3 females holding it down. For, what I'm saying, for a consistent amount of time, kind of leading the charge for female rappers. But when Nicki really started popping off in 2009, 2010, 2011. I mean, she was getting on songs with Kanye, Rick Ross, and Jay-Z embodying them.
I was just going to say, and she would have the best verse on the song. Yeah,
she had the best verse on the song, and, there wasn't really no other true female superstar that was really, like, for example, in 2012, Nicki was the biggest female rapper, and the other female rapper, I don't know, I wouldn't call her the biggest, but another female rapper that was even being put in talks and even conversations as far as, like, popularity was a rapper from L.A. No disrespect to her, because her song is kind of fire, Krayshawn.
Yeah, Gucci.
Yeah, you remember that song, right? Like one of the first, I ain't gonna call it one of the first, but like internet songs. Yeah. I feel like that was an early edition. Like I said, no disrespect to Krayshawn, but Krayshawn can't fuck with Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, no way.
So that's the thing that I'm just like, you even had what was that? It had like a white girl mob group, and it was what was it? V Nasty did a whole collaboration mixtape with Gucci Man. Oh. So you see what I'm saying? Yeah. All of these, like, no disrespect to any of these people, but when I said all that to say this. Nicki pretty much was the female rapper from 2009 to 2000 and whatever. Up until maybe like the Cardi B's and everybody else started coming out, Nicki was the female rapper. And she wasn't just a good female rapper, she was commercially successful. I think Nicki has 2 #1 albums and 2 #2 albums.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, like I said, I know Nicki, a lot of people don't like her for antics from what she's been doing or whatever. I don't necessarily, I've heard that she's a very mean person. I don't know that to be true. I've never met her. And I think like a lot of people don't like how she kind of gets her influences her fans to be negative or whatever.
The barbs.
And I don't necessarily pay too much attention to that. And everybody can have their opinion, but as far as her ability, her legacy, and who she is, I mean, Nicki is one of the best ever.
I couldn't have said it better.
No.
Oh man, this is what happens when we have a great conversation. I think the viewers will agree this is one of the better episodes that I've done. I love talking about rap and different things, and Thug and Nicki. Those are two of my big artists for me. So this has been awesome. I guess final question before we both wave goodbye. What's something you've been listening to besides Thug? What did you listen to this morning? Give us a song.
Kenny Money, rapper from Paper Route Empire.
Awesome.
He just dropped a new album. Is it called Time Is Money? I have no clue. But Kenny Money is somebody who I've been listening to. I've really liked his last album. Eddie Valero is another one. I don't know if he's from Memphis or Nashville, but he hard. Been rocking with him. A lot of G Herbo.
Nice.
I still rock with Herbo a lot. And anything else that I've really been listening to? Where's my phone? Let me see something. Let's see what else. Finesse 2 Times. I like his album. And I've been listening to a lot of YG's last album. I Got Issues.
Nice.
I don't know why. The album is, I think, one of his weaker ones, but the songs on there that he like I Got Issues and Toxic and Scared Money, I really like.
Wow.
The ones that I don't like, I really don't like. The ones that I do like, I really like.
That's great. One of my best friends is huge on YG and has been trying to get me to listen to that album.
Yeah.
And no offense, Jake, but based on this recommendation, I'll probably check it out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely look into that YG album. I mean, if you don't like that album, I still listen to Still Brazy religiously.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most well-did albums in the last decade. You know what I'm saying? That's a very good album that he put out. Like I said, I don't want to get too deep into it, but like I said, if you don't like the last one, you could always rely on Still Brazy. That was a great album, top to bottom.
Amen. I agree with that. All right, looks like you guys got some homework to do, but thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. Cato, thank you so much for sitting down with me and talking. Oh man, have a great
love
week.
What you got going on.
Thank you so much. Have a great week, everyone. Get your tickets to Block Party, and I'll see you next week. We only got a couple more of these. See ya.